you experience hip pain that wakes you up at night every time you roll onto your hip? Have you had x-rays and scans and been told it's not your hip joint, so you don't need a total hip replacement, but your hip pain is still there and all the doctor said is take some painkillers to settle your pain? Hi there, it's Neesha from My Favorite Physio. In today's video, I'm jumping in to talk about trochanteric bursitis and the 3 signs that would indicate your hip pain is a result of trochanteric bursitis. So here at My Favorite Physio, we see lots of people who come in complaining of hip pain. The key to overcoming hip pain is getting the right diagnosis for your hip pain, because not all hip pain are the same. And the great news about trochanteric bursitis is you can overcome that hip pain without medications. And physiotherapy is a really effective way to help you with that hip pain. So what is trochanteric bursitis? Basically, if you look at this hip model, this is your right hip, and you'll see that thigh bone has this big bone sticking out on this side. That's your greater trochanter. Sitting on that greater trochanter is a little bag of fluid called a bursa. And because it sits there, we call it the trochanteric bursa. What can happen is sometimes people fall on their hips, or they might have knocked their hips against the bed table or cupboards, and you go, oh, it's really sore, and that hip pain never goes away. That is trauma to the bursa, which can cause it to get inflamed. More commonly, it is because of people's standing posture or walking activities as a result of work over many years. And what happens is it's always rubbing. So after a while, your bursa thickens up and gets inflamed and gives you hip pain. So the 3 signs for trochanteric bursitis is, number 1, you get hip pain that comes along the side of your hip and down your thigh. So very often people will point right on the side of the hips and go, that's where my pain is, and it shoots down towards my knee, right on the outside of my leg. It is likely that you have trochanteric bursitis if your therapist has a feel around all that muscle, and you'll feel, oh, it's very tender right at that point. The second sign that you have trochanteric bursitis is you'll find that activities where you take your leg out or you take a leg up and down is when it hurts the most. So if you're resting there, it probably doesn't hurt too much, but when you sit to stand, that's when you feel the sharp pain on the side of your hip. If you're getting in and out of the car, that's when you feel, oh, it's painful because you're taking your leg in and out. Climbing upstairs is another activity that aggravates your hip pain. So if that's what you feel every time you're doing stair climbing, or when you're getting in and out of a car, or when you sit to stand from a chair, it's likely that your hip pain is trochanteric bursitis. The third sign is it wakes you up at night. So every time you lie on that hip, you put pressure on that bursa, it's painful and you will wake up. So you find yourself having to turn and sleep on the other side. And then even then, after a while, it still hurts, because when you sleep on the opposite side, this hip falls over and puts pressure on that part of your hip joint where your bursa is. And again, it feels sore. So sleeping is really quite uncomfortable now, because you can't sleep either side because of that hip pain waking you up. Now, if that sounds like you, it's very likely that you have trochanteric bursitis. The great news is physiotherapy can help you overcome that hip pain without medications. So if you would like some help to overcome that hip pain, what you need to do is to ring us here at My Favorite Physio. The number to ring is 02-9790-4233. And if you know somebody out there who's been putting up with hip pain, waking up at night from it, and just really struggling to go up and down stairs or in and out the car, why don't you like and share this video with them? Until next time, have a fantastic day. Bye.